The Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade.
Welcome to The Unfiltered by Jade, where we educate, empower, and entertain. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, download, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records.
Shopping assistance, your style, your budget. Our services include online and local shopping for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, and helping you find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195 or shoppingassistance2015@gmail.com. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget.
Welcome to The Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us here Kimberly. Kimberly she's the host of OK Then podcast. She is a behavioral and educational consultant. And we're going to get to know more about her as we speak about the benefits of traveling the world, which it's exciting. I'm excited about it.
Me too.
And I'm also excited to have her here. So hi, Kim. How are you?
Hi, Jade. How are you?
I am great. I'm excited to talk to you today.
Me too. Thank you for having me again.
Sure. No problem. It's always a pleasure to have you. So, Kim, why is traveling so important?
You know what, Jade? It's like traveling for me recently has become an outlet almost, just to like find peace in what you're doing. Like I think especially when COVID hit, it kind of shocked us that we weren't able to go anywhere. I think we were shell shocked as like not only not being able to move around in our own community because we were, confined to our homes, but also traveling was shut down. And I think it just, for me, I took a second look at that of how important travel is when it's taken away. So, recently, I just was like, listen, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do for my daughter. This is how I'm going to, kind of include this in my mental health self-care routine. And it's just really become, a key component for me.
What are some of the benefits of it?
Man, benefits of traveling, just making new memories with loved ones, with friends, expanding your mind. Everything that goes on in America doesn't go on in other countries.
True.
And I did not know that. And especially last year, I was able to go to Colombia for my birthday last year, which was like a complete eye-opener. And I think that trip alone just opened my eyes to what the world outside of the U.S. has in store. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there are persons I've spoken to before and they don't feel like they need to leave where they are at all.
Right.
And it's kind of strange because how are you going to learn about other countries?
If you
how are
don't
you going to know? Right. How are you going to say, you know what, I think I can probably do better here. Let me see how the lifestyle is here. And the thing about it, I think it also opens up our horizons to things.
Yes. Like, even, Colombia was a complete eye-opener for me. I had done I did Costa Rica, I did Mexico, but I did that on resorts, you know what I mean? So that's the other thing about travel, actually like being not, a tourist, but also a local. Because going to Colombia, my family had moved there. Like maybe 2 months or 3 months before we had gone out there. And so having the podcast, I was like, okay, this could just kind of be like a podcast tour in a way.
Right.
And so literally went to 3 different cities in Colombia and like was complete locals, walked, took taxis, exchanged money, ate the food, spoke the language, just realized like the whole culture, the whole Colombian culture. And it's to be honest with you, so much more peaceful in a way than over here. Yeah. And
Wow.
I can definitely divulge into that. And you just, being from, because where are you from, Jade?
Where do I start? So, Nigeria, Jamaica, and now US.
See, like, firsthand, like the difference,
Yes.
Yeah. Like the difference. And it's very eye-opening.
It is. It is. And sometimes it takes you aback because sometimes you're not used to it. But then, when you kind of get into it, you're like, okay, this is how it's done. Because now you have to learn sometimes how to speak differently.
Yeah.
Everything just becomes so different. But the thing about it, it's good because now you have experience in different cultures.
Right. And knowing that I may not want to live in the US for the rest of my life, to be honest with you.
Right.
Okay. And to me, there's just a better life, I think, but also a different life than what's over here and what, we believe is the American dream.
Oh, right. What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of travel?
Excuse me. For me, advantages is what we talked about, just
right.
Learning other people's culture, meeting new people, different ways of life. The disadvantages for me, especially working for myself now, for just a few months, to be honest with you, it's a new transition, but I have a little one. So I've traveled. This position allows me to travel, and I don't even want to use that word, but this position, I travel often. I travel through different parts of Georgia. I travel to different parts of the country. So it's hard for me because I have a little one that I don't want to leave for like days on end. You know what I mean? So traveling that way is a benefit, but it's also like a disadvantage. But then if I can take her, like for her birthday, we took her to Jamaica. And
nice.
Jade, it was like, yes. I mean, it was like, you know what? I'm not gonna really do gifts. I don't care about a party. I'm not paying for other kids to come and have fun with my daughter. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna take you somewhere. She loves hotels. So an all-inclusive resort in Jamaica was amazing. And I mean, She was like, we live here. She was like, this is where we live. I was like, girl, mommy, listen, 7 more years. Wait till you graduate high school. Because, baby, yes, that's the goal. The goal is to have something in Jamaica, honey. Yes, God. Yes, love it. So, or Colombia, or both. You know what I mean? Just to have three in different countries. Yeah. So that's the only disadvantage, to be honest with you, for me, is just being away from my daughter.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What has been your biggest adventure thus far?
I think my biggest adventure, to be honest with you, was the Colombia trip.
Okay.
And I'm very adventurous. I've done, I'll typically try anything. I mean, within reason. Now that I'm a mother, there's certain things I won't try.
Right.
But, I will. I typically try, everything once. So I've had a lot of adventures. I mean, my girlfriend turned, well, I forget how old she turned, but we were in Jamaica last year, and we did the zip lining and the bungee jumping, and that was an adventure. Jamaica, the chukka. So that was an adventure. But I think the Colombia trip, just literally going to Colombia, and you hear about the danger, and all of that, and it was like still COVID time, and just going. I mean, it was the craziest thing ever. It was literally, Jade. It was crazy because it was 3 cities in 8 flights in like 7 days.
What?
Yeah, it was.
That is crazy.
Cities, and every city was different. And I mean, you would see like their policing with the rifles, like right out front. It was very and just trying different things and eating different things and just walking around with the locals, that was an adventure. So that's something I would love to do again, especially with, my daughter, since we have
Right.
family there. So that would be okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that we need to look for when we're planning to travel?
Oh Lord, what to look for? Always be safe. I always, no matter where you go, you always want to feel safe where you're staying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big thing for me. I'm not necessarily a hotel snob or an
Okay.
Airbnb snob. I don't think so. I've been told that I am. But for me, traveling, especially if I'm leaving the comfort of my own home, I
Mm-hmm.
want that comfort where I'm staying,
Right. Understandable.
and um, for me, this past year, I've had a theme for every place that I've traveled. Not like a theme, like a costume theme or anything like that, but like a theme, my intention of why I'm going on this trip.
Okay.
Like like I said, my two girlfriends, their birthday was February, and we went to Jamaica. That just seems to be the safe space for me. But we went there, and my intention was not only to celebrate their birthday, but to just what was I going to get out of this trip?
Okay.
Like for my own personal mental health, my own self-care routine, like what did I want to get out of this trip? And I think that's so important, to have an intention for every trip you go on, so that it's, monumental. The memories are being made, but you're coming away with something more than just a good time,
I like that.
Yeah. So also planning for good food.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yes.
important. Planning, let me see, just have all your safety stuff, because like even like going away when we went to Jamaica, like the resort is gorgeous. Obviously everything, they want you to stay on the resort. Although I love to go outside of the resort just to, get in the culture and like really like be one with the locals. But for us, it was COVID. We had to stay on the resort. Just having like first aid stuff. You know what I mean? Having like
Right.
little things from over here because they're so expensive over there. What I will tell you is, even though I bring my own first aid stuff, uh, we were I don't know what they treat the grass. I don't know what's treated at the resorts for the grass or the outside area, but the grass. We were on a golf course and it was so beautiful, and there were ruins like not far. So we decided to do a photo shoot and
Oh
like
boy.
roll around in the grass.
Oh boy.
I mean, hours before our return flight. Huge mistake, because whatever was in the grass literally instantly like had me itching.
Oh no.
Instantly had me itching. I had to run, take a shower, get dressed to go to the airport, still itching. I went and asked the bartender at the bar when I had my last, cocktail before
Right.
going. She was like, "Here, take this white rum and rub it all on yourself." Girl, when I tell you, I went in the bathroom, was complete stripped down, and just poured
Uh-huh.
that white rum on me. I mean, it saved my soul. My other
Wow.
girlfriend that did not do that ended up like a week later. It was like they said it was some type of like parasite. She was itching, broke out, like it was
Wow.
horrible. So what I say all that to say is, even when you think you're prepared and you've planned for almost anything, there's still things that, again, you don't really know until you get there. And
Right.
that's the good
Right.
part about like, talking to the locals and really getting to know the people and stuff like that. So
Understand. And I
yeah.
think sometimes they sometimes don't want visitors to normally talk with
Mm,
locals. I think it's also for safety reasons. Because the thing is, you don't know. So if you go to a different country and you just start talking to people, like
yeah.
you don't know what can happen.
True. That's true.
So I also probably think it's probably also for safety reasons.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but I feel like if I'm over here, you're right. You know what? People have been telling this to me my entire life, like to stop talking to strangers. Hey, that's basically what you're telling me again. Does not talk to strangers. But no, you're completely right. And people always say that. But to be honest with you, like it's like if you don't talk to strangers, how do you build connections? You know what I mean? How do you build
Well,
relationships? Like, to be honest with you, going back to Jamaica, my favorite vacation location. I went there and we were trying to go somewhere, and so the concierge connected us to a gentleman in Jamaica, Mr. Tony, who I adore. Okay. And so he was so nice, Jade. I mean, he was more than a driver. This was what, 2 years ago? More than a driver. We connected on WhatsApp literally every time I go to Jamaica. Now, I've probably been there 3 additional times since when I first met him. He picks me up every single time from the airport, same location, takes me to my local city spots, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And we go to the grocery store. I grab what I need. He takes me to my hotel. And he's the person that I feel safe with in Jamaica. Like, I don't want to go
Without him.
without him. And they know him. And it's crazy. The entire, like, Montego Bay, like that little area, like, knows him.
Okay.
And by me, I feel comfortable with him, and just those connections. So it's a catch-22, really. Sometimes
It is.
You just have to test the vibe, test the energy, and just kind of go with it.
Yeah. It's also. I think
right.
it's also.
You're right with safety. I know we were supposed to go to the lagoon in February, and my friend met someone on the beach. And he was so excited about taking us. And of course, he wanted us to pay in advance. I was like, no, get out of here. Are you kidding me? Now, I do know that. I don't play by my money. I do. I will be silent when it comes to my money. I will be silent. I will not speak to anybody, if it has to do with my money. But yeah, so he was like, okay, I'm going to have somebody pick you up. So, a couple hours later, he had somebody pick us up, and it was not the face that we thought it was. And he's standing outside, and I'm like, oh no, I don't feel this dude. Like, we all came downstairs, and I didn't want to go anyway. But he was standing outside waiting on us. And I'm like, I'm not going with him. Y'all can go, but I need to get back home. Like, I'm not doing it. So they were like, come on, let's go. Nope, I'm not doing it. So I asked the concierge, I said, do you is this okay? Because, they, like you said, it's safety. We have to sign out. And she was like, I don't know him. So
that's right.
On your own, sis. So I was like, oh, whoop, I'm not doing it. So ended up WhatsApping Mr. Tony and
that's
said,
right.
Can you come and take us to the lagoon? Are you busy? He was within 15 minutes. He came. And when he came, it was like peace just came down my body. I was like, yes.
Right.
And when I was walking to the van, she was like, now, Tony, we know Tony.
Right.
We know. Now, that other guy, I'm glad you decided to hold off on him, but Tony, we know. So you're absolutely right. It is safety, and it's just like you gotta kind of just feel the energy. If it don't feel right, don't go.
Don't go. Do not go if it doesn't feel. Yeah. How has traveling changed your perception throughout the years?
I've traveled for years. I've traveled since high school. Just going, to, I would say, like tropical resort, like Bahamas, Costa Rica, Jamaica, Cancun. I would say that the trip to Colombia completely changed me because I was there for so long. Not really. I was there for, I guess, 6 days. But just being in an Airbnb in one city versus a hotel in another city. You know what I mean? Like having to go to the grocery store and just speaking the culture and seeing the different foods that they have. And, just the attitude that they give off, just the kindness, if you will, versus here, sometimes you come here and it's not as kind. It's not as nice.
Oh boy. Sorry about that. That just came out from nowhere.
No, Jay, you can speak on it. I mean, listen, come on. It's not. I was in New York for my birthday, and even like I come from Pennsylvania, so I'm kind of already I'm a mixture. I'm a Southern Northerner, so I can be really sweet and outgoing, but then I can, bring it right back in and be kind of cutthroat when I need to be. And just being in New York for my birthday, I'm speaking to people, smiling, thank you, and they're looking at me like, girl, who are you talking to?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm not in Atlanta no more. Okay, let me change the game. I mean, I'm crossing the street and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, and I mean, they're on the verge of hitting me. I'm in the
Yeah.
car and I'm like, I'm trying to figure out my way, and they're honking in the back like, get the F. And I'm like, oh Lord, okay. All right, I'm not on 400 no more. Let me wait a minute now. Let me switch it up. Let me change the game. My middle finger. I'm like, who are you? Wait a minute. Calm down. Yeah. So it changes the perception to the fact of like you get used to one thing and then you go somewhere else. Even in the United States, like for New York, just it changes it. Coming from Philly, my girlfriend's like, get out of the way. What are you doing? Get out of here. And I'm like, girl. And then once I get in the driver's seat, I'm like, oh, okay, because we're not in Atlanta no more. Like, like, so yeah, just the perception is different, and then but it's good because you get to see what it's like everywhere else. It's not the same. It's not the same thing, the monotony every single day when you go, even somewhere as like New York, or just we went to Charlotte. Like, I took my daughter to Charlotte and we often travel because, I've been traveling from Pennsylvania to Georgia my entire life, like in the car, 12 hours my entire life, because my family is from the southern Georgia area. So even though I was raised in PA, our roots are really in Georgia. So traveling is even just coastal, driving has been a thing. So I want my daughter, like even since she was little, she's been driving in the car. Like my dog, we all jumped in the truck and we just drive. Like that's just what they're used to. Like, so the perception is everything. Every state is different. Every town is different, Jade. I mean, just what I'm doing now and going into these rural counties of Georgia, girl, I'm like, okay, this takes me back to like Andy Griffith. I feel like those shows, like we still, okay. Like we're still there. There's some cities that haven't even remotely changed in years, just in Georgia alone.
Yeah.
So the perception is, it changes in like every town, every city, everywhere you go, just to get out.
And sometimes it's shocking though, because I mean, even leaving from Georgia, and sometimes we go to Carolina. I mean, I think we went there once. Well, there a couple of times, and went to a restaurant to eat, and we were the only black persons in there. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not used
to this day.
I ain't used to this now.
I don't like it. Yes.
I don't like it.
I mean, it's true. It's like, and that's just across the border. You know what I mean? Like, I'm yet to go to Alabama. Now, that's one thing. I'm yet to go that way. I ain't going that way yet, but I'm going to get over there. I'm straight. Like, I can get Carolinas, Virginia, DC. Like, I'm good on that. But now when we thinking like, and I keep thinking I want to take my daughter to Mobile, Alabama, but I'm like, I don't know. I want to do Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, but I'm like, I ain't ready for that yet.
That's a different thing. That's different thing.
That's another thing. That's a totally different thing. But, every place, like, like I'm very blessed, to be honest with you. It's funny that you asked me when you asked me about travel and you asked, and we, discussed doing this episode. Everything happens for a reason, Jade. And that's just what I've really been saying, like even on my podcast, everything happens for a reason, because you and I, Okay Then podcast, we did an episode. You were once again our first like outside podcast to like, you know what I mean? For us to be a guest, for Okay Then podcast to be a guest. You were the first. And it's crazy because literally like a year later, again, you are my first, like since the dynamic has changed with Okay Then podcast. And, I'm honored, to be honest with you, that you even provided me the opportunity. That's why I was like trying my best with this whole thing, with the computer and, all of the documentation to get with you, because traveling for me has changed since I have started working for myself. Like places I wouldn't even think about going, like I went to Palm Springs, California, in August, I think. Completely different lifestyle. Jade,
Wow.
completely different lifestyle. I mean, it was like the only way I can describe it, it was like, have you ever seen the Flintstones?
Oh, yes.
And I don't want anybody from Palm Springs, like I know this is not, I don't want anybody. This is no offense, but that's all I thought. It was like I was in the Flintstones because it's desert, and all the homes are like very modern, very mod, and it just was like, I mean, it was all like a huge community. Like the homes were in the mountains, and the rocks were like, they looked like Flintstone rocks. It was amazing. I mean, it was, to be honest with you, I went to Joshua Tree, which is supposed to be a spiritual.
Oh, yeah.
Again, girl, I didn't know Joshua Tree, child. I'm new to this. I'm like, Joshua Tree, girl, I'm thinking it's a real tree, like, from the Bible. Like, I'm literally like, okay, I can't wait to go to Joshua's tree.
I think I only knew about it from something I was watching on TV, and I heard about people going to Joshua Tree to get married. I didn't know about that.
And I'm thinking it's a spiritual place. And when I got there, I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling anything.
No.
No, this is weird. But then once the night hit, another, a trainer that was with me, we went to, we stopped the truck. It was 6 of us, Jade. We stopped the truck like in the middle of the desert, and they just have stargazing out there. It's just us in the desert. And we literally stopped the car, turned the lights out, super dark. And it was like a magnificent dream.
Wow.
It was it like took me back to like, we have a farm, and it took me back to just nothing but like land and sky. No trees, just peace, the moon, the star. It changed the game. And it like, so I'm long-winded, I'm sorry, but I say this to say everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I've been able to travel more to really be able to reflect on my experiences. And then next thing you know, you're like, hey, what do you think about travel? And I'm like, okay, God. Okay, Jesus, what we doing?
The thing is also, I've always seen you as that kind of person from we met.
Yeah.
I've actually seen you. I was like, all right, she looks like she travels a lot. So that was always been something that I've thought about.
Wow.
So when I thought about a topic, you were the perfect person that came to mind. I was like, hold on, Kim. Because when I met her, that's what I thought about when I saw her.
Oh, Jade.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you have a lot of guests, so that speaks volumes. I was like, maybe she doesn't have anybody else to.
No, you were the only person that came to my mind about traveling, actually.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And that when we first met, I think when we first met, we had already planned to go to Colombia, but I hadn't done much. Like I hadn't traveled as much. I mean, I travel, you know what I mean? But
Right.
Again, I do like resortish places, like the Caribbean. Like I really like not like really like getting into major things. So that's funny that I wanted to travel when I met you, but I think it was right after COVID or still within COVID. But
it was in COVID because that was 2020.
Yeah. Wow. Are you kidding me? That's
No.
when we met.
That's when we met.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's when, oh my gosh, then no, I don't know then. I don't know. I'm like, is that when we were planning the trip? No, I don't think so. But if we met in 2020, wow, yeah. I had no idea like what my life would be like. And now like almost like not full circle, because I would just say this is the 180, I think, because I do believe we are going to have another, we're going to do another episode together,
I think, yes, we do.
Whether it's,
we are.
Unfiltered by Jade or Okay Then Podcast, we are definitely going to do. I think I might actually have you as a guest this time.
Okay.
It's 2-0. I'm going to provide you the opportunity to just sit back and answer questions. But yeah, it's an honor, to be honest with you, that I get to do another episode with you. And it's really about travel, something that I'm just really embarking on. And
Yes.
And it's another funny thing is that December last year, my friend was like, "Why don't you just be a travel agent?" Jade,
Wow.
like, girl, what? No, like I can barely. No, I don't want to do anything else. Like I'm trying to gather myself, and it's really something very simple, Jade. It's an online opportunity, and they give you all of the support that you need. It's a monthly fee that's like, it's like maybe
Right.
between $30 and $50. But at the end of the day, it opens up like all of the benefits.
Yes. Yes.
So I was thinking to myself, now wait a minute, okay, if let me just calculate this because I had to figure out my little money. Let me just let me calculate this. Okay, this amount times 12 is what I want to do. So I was like, oh, okay, girl. So really, so that's another thing that I'm excited that you talked about travel, that I'm not a travel agent. I don't, I can be if I wanted to, but I'm a part of that community. But what I wanted to do was get that opportunity to just kind of explore. So the
Yes.
amount that I paid just for the membership, I've already made it up in
Nice.
just the locations that I've been to. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, it's just I really appreciate the opportunity.
And you actually could advise people where traveling is concerned, as the protective measures, what to do, where
Right.
to go, where some good places that you can go, etc., etc. Because you're just that kind of person. So
Oh,
yeah.
I try. I feel like I'm always like, it's funny. I just feel like when I go places, I still just want to know, like, I need a plan B just in case. You know what I mean? So that's, I think, also
Mm-hmm.
a plan B and a safety plan just in case, um, you know, something doesn't go the way that you're expecting it to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always have that. Always have that. So that's good.
You know what?
And
The travel advice that I've just learned, travel insurance.
oh,
Babe, I never do travel insurance. Never, 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 never do. I don't. But recently, with the whole COVID thing, my girlfriend, who I travel with often, was like, "Kim, get travel insurance," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like that's an extra $50. Like I know I'm going. You know what I mean, girl?
right. Right.
For my birthday, we were supposed to go to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. And literally up until, 2 weeks, she was like, get insurance because you never know. I don't watch the news, Jade, at all. So I had no idea about Hurricane Fiona at
Mm,
all, at all. So she was like, I'm getting you travel insurance. So I ended up getting travel insurance. And do you know that um,
right. Mm-hmm.
they canceled our housing?
Wow.
So we were
Hmm.
unable to go. So I would always, at this point now, I would always just say travel insurance because
Okay.
I mean, it literally is like $50, if that, depending on your flight, depending on your, you know, where you're going. But it really is, they really provide you with that assurance that you get your money back because that's what's happening right now. So that's a tip.
Especially in this time. Mm-hmm.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
tip. I definitely would do that. And I'm not one to get insurance. Like I'm like insurance is BS, even though, I have it on everything. But I'm just like travel insurance, get it, especially now, yeah, because you never know.
Never know. To
You never.
always be prepared. Never know
Yep.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
instead of calling them, I need my money back.
Mm.
Do it.
Airlines now do not care. They're like, you want a voucher? You give you a voucher, and you're like, no, I want my cash. I want my cash back. Like, girl, no. But but it
Oh,
worked out because I ended up actually being able to going to New York, which if anybody wants to do like an international type of thing but doesn't really want to go international yet, New
right.
York, New York, New York, New York, New York.
It's busy though. Not everybody can manage how busy it is.
Oh my God.
It's really, really busy.
It's really, really busy, and it was amazing. I mean, all cultures, all nationalities. It's like you are literally in a melting pot of just the entire like world coming together and one
Right.
stop, and it's there. So that would be my go-to too, if you kind of want to go somewhere that's like, oh my gosh, like shell shock, but don't really want to go out of the
Mm-hmm.
country. Manhattan,
Right, right.
New
Yeah.
York, anywhere, Brooklyn. We went to Brooklyn, Chelsea, all of that. Perfect location.
Nice. Very
Yes.
nice. Kim, tell us
Yes.
where we can find you and tell us what days the podcast comes out so we can look for it.
Jade, I knew you were going to ask me about the date. So, oh gosh. So you can find me at Okay Then Podcast on Instagram, Facebook. Our episodes are, let me see, on Apple Music, Amazon, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Wow, I'm so proud.
That's right.
Dora, I would love for you guys to follow the page and just kind of give me some feedback. Again, the dynamic changed a little bit this year.
That's okay, but you're doing good.
I'm doing good. I'm trying. Thank you.
I've listened and you're doing good. Don't worry yourself.
Thank you, Jade. Thank you. And who knows, the dynamic may change again next year. I don't know. But for right now, it's myself and the days, to be honest with you, Jade, girl, you really have to just follow me on Instagram. I am going to take a complete, I'm going to read your book and I'm going to memorize it so that I can be more consistent, because that's really what I need to be. But just now, the podcast is just me, living through this time, kind of navigating this podcasting world on my own and including my own like world experiences and kind of just speaking about behavior and the universe and, things like that. So you can find me there, and please just follow, provide feedback, download. You'll know when when an episode is actually coming out, because I'll promote it, on my page. Great.
And also follow them. I follow you on Spotify.
You do?
So yes, I do.
You. But I definitely will be more consistent. Next season, Lord willing, season 3. I can't believe I'm saying that. Once season 2 is over, season 2 is complete. Jesus. Yay! Season 3 will be more consistent, and hopefully I will have you on Okay Then Podcast, and I will be able to give a consistent schedule of when these episodes will be dropping. So, yeah.
No problem. Give yourself some grace, man. You're doing good.
Thank you, Jade. And thank you again for having me on. I appreciate you and your support this whole time. I'm so proud of you. And
thank you.
Girl, you are... You meant it when you said you were doing this, okay? Unfiltered by Jade, honey. She meant that when we met in 2020. I am super proud of you.
Thank you.
So yes, all of your different guests. It's amazing. You have a genre of different people on, and it's just it's awesome to listen to. So yay!
Thank God for that. Yay! Thank God for that. Oh my goodness! So thank you again, Kim. I enjoyed this episode. It was really good. Learned a lot about you. Learned a lot about places, safety, things to look for. What to kind of do, and to just the main thing is to ensure that we travel so we get a different perspective on life, on what's out there, instead of just really being stuck in one place. So that's good.
Exactly.
Yes. And I want to thank our listeners for continuing to listen to The Unfiltered by Jade. And we'll be back next week, Tuesday. Thank you. Bam, 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 bam,